home care, serves all the seniors and people who are otherwise housebound in the Northeast Kingdom. We try to help people age in their homes. So if you need that help, give us a ring. We also have the meeting place, which is the Senior Day Center here in Newport. It's on 2nd Street in the big white church there in the middle of the road. Drop in just for fun sometime. Serve great food, as you can see from those wonderful cookies. But we also have a lot of fun. It's quite a wonderful place for people to come and spend some of their days. So we are hosting, as well as the Council on Aging. Council on Aging is where you go if you need to know what resources are available to you. If you need help with anything, any of the issues of aging, they're the first place you go for help. We hope that everyone supports them. Every year they have to go around to the towns and get people to sign, get the towns to cough up enough money to keep this incredibly important service alive. So I ask that next year when they go around again, please sign, because they do a lot of good for a lot of people in our community. Hosting, well, I will leave the discussion of COVE and what they do in the state and the state's anti-fraud efforts to our folks from Savvy Seniors. They're part of Lyric Theater. They are kind enough to come all the way out here for you today. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So if you find that you need any more cookies or water, run now. No, I'll do it for you. Just raise your hand and I'll get it for you. But let me just welcome them to the stage. Thanks.
Hi, Audrey. Oh, things are good. Except everybody's down with that lousy bug that's going around.
Oh, that's a bummer.
How about yourself?
Oh, I'm okay. Can't complain. I saw a cat and Charlie on my way when I was coming in with this, and I should be here any minute.
That's good. I haven't seen them in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Ken's here somewhere. I saw him when I came in. He's probably in the little boy's room.
That would be Ken. Yeah.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late. Had to see a man about a dog. Where's the rest of our motley gang?
Motley? Who says we're motley? I thought we were more of a sorry bunch than motley.
If you ask me, we're both sorry and motley.
True.
Hey, Charlie.
So, let's get going with our group discussion.
Oh, before we start on that, I want to tell you about a great movie that Ann and I saw last week. You guys got to go see it.
Pat, could you hold that just a second? You just reminded me about something. Dick and Audrey, don't forget we have a Savvy Seniors gig in St. Albans next week.
I put it on my calendar.
Okay, good.
We'll be there.
What the heck is a Savvy Seniors?
Oh, well, Savvy Seniors, we have a little theatrical troupe, and we go around to senior centers and senior living accommodations, and we do skits on Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse.
Oh, yeah, and on scams that are pulled on seniors.
Sometimes by phone and sometimes by email.
Yeah.
How in the world did you get into that?
Well, you know, we're all involved with Lyric Theater, and we were asked by COVE if we would do these little performances sort of as a public service.
Cole? What the heck are they?
COVE, the Community of Vermont Elders. It's a nonprofit in Montpelier, and their mission in life is to improve the quality of life of seniors. And they do that through education and advocacy.
Yeah, they lobby the legislature for things like elder abuse and medical cost containment, heating cost assistance, and public-private good transportation for elders.
And they're assigned by the federal government as Vermont's Senior Medicare Patrol, SMP. That's where we come in. We're part of their task to educate Vermont seniors about Medicare fraud and abuse, which, by the way, costs us taxpayers something in the area of $60 billion a year.
Wow, that's amazing. Can anybody come to your performances?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, Pat. I'll tell you what, I'll put together our schedule, and you can come to whichever performance is convenient for you.
Okay, but, you know, look, can we get back to this book study here? We're supposed to clean a church hall this afternoon.
Oh, geez.
Oh, Charlie, I told them we'd be there right now. We gotta go. Bye.
Just here.
Well, I've got an elective lobotomy this afternoon, so I'll see you all later.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to stay, but my parking meter is about to run out. I'll see you next week, Ken.
Well, that was a nice group discussion. But that's our way of introducing ourselves. We are the Savvy Seniors from Lyric Theater Company. We're here to perform some skits for you that we hope you will find both educational and interesting and hopefully fun. And let me introduce you to our motley group. To begin with, we start with Audrey Arnold, Pat Heiss, Charlie Church, and Dick Hibbard. And I am, by the way, Ken Wolvington. We are Lyric Theater Savvy Seniors. Thank you. Well, we're not quite done. Lyric Theater is a fair distance from you, but it's not as far as Broadway. And Lyric Theater does perform 2 Broadway musicals a year at the beautiful Lynn Theater in Burlington. Just last week we closed after 5 performances of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, the musical. And in November this year we'll be doing Annie. So if you find yourself interested in seeing a Broadway musical of quality much higher than you're going to see this afternoon, by the way, of young, energetic, enthusiastic, and very talented young people performing musicals, by all means come to Burlington at the Flynn Theater, and I think you'll be amazed at what you see and what you hear. So we're going to open with a skit that is titled Medium Rare.
Here's a live one. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Ring, ring. Hello? Hello, is this Mrs. Beverly Snodgrass?
Yes, I'm Mrs. Snodgrass.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Snodgrass. This is Roger Stapler from Stapler, Pencil, and Glass. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fine, I guess.
Did
you say you are?
My name is Roger Stapler, Mrs. Snodgrass. You can just call me Roger.
Well,
Now, Mrs. Snodgrass, this is your lucky day. Are you sitting down?
No, I'm dusting right now. Why should I be sitting down?
Well, it's because I'm calling to tell you you're a big winner in the Irish sweepstakes.
Look, there's something about steaks. I can't eat meat, you know. It bothers my stomach.
No, Mrs. Snodgrass. The Irish sweepstakes. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the Irish sweepstakes. You're a big winner.
Excuse me a minute, mister.
It's Stapler, Mrs. Snodgrass. Roger Stapler.
There, that's better. Now, what were you saying about steaks?
It's not about steaks, Mrs. Snodgrass. I'm calling to tell you you're a big winner in the Irish sweepstakes. The Irish sweepstakes is a big lottery in Ireland, and you just won a lot of money.
Really? That's wonderful, but how could that be? I've never entered a lottery, much less... I don't even play bingo down at church, much less a lottery in Ireland. Come to think of it, I've never been to Ireland.
Well, you don't have to go to Ireland, Mrs. Snodgrass. It's all done automatically. There's always a certain number of random folks that entered into the lottery, the Irish sweepstakes, as a goodwill gesture on the part of the Irish government. And you're one of those folks. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, I guess so.
You want to know how much you've won?
Well, I guess so.
You better be sitting down, Mrs. Snodgrass. You have won $285,000.
What?
$285,000.
There must be a mistake.
Oh, there's no mistake, Mrs. Snodgrass. You've won that money in the Irish sweepstakes.
Well, I never.
Now, Mrs. Snodgrass, the contest rules require that you claim that money in person or that you have a representative pick the money up on your behalf. There's a fair amount of paperwork involved, as I'm sure you understand.
Well, I never.
Well, that's where we come in, Mrs. Snodgrass. Stapler, Pencil, and Glass, that's our firm. We have offices in Dublin, and we're fully prepared to assist you in this claim. We do all the paperwork, receive the payment on your behalf, and get it deposited into your bank account. How does that sound?
Well, that's awfully nice of you, but
Well, we're more than happy to do it, Mrs. Snodgrass. There's a small fee for our services. I'm sure you understand that. It's only 1% of your winnings, which in this case would be $2,850, and you would get a balance of $282,150 deposited right into your bank account. How does that sound?
Well, that sounds real nice, I guess.
Well, I'm sure it does. Now listen, all we need from you is your bank account number so that we can deposit your check. If you just give me that number, Mrs. Snodgrass, we'll start the proceedings immediately.
My bank account number?
Yes, just your bank account number.
But I don't have a bank account.
You don't have a bank account?
Well, no, my father was cheated by the banks back in 1927. I think that, hello? I think we've been discontinued. Oh, dear, maybe he'll call back. Oh, well.
All he needed was her bank account number. What could be a problem with that? It sounds far-fetched, but that is a very popular scam. Some woman in Vermont lost thousands of dollars to that particular scam using the excuse that it was supposedly she had won the Irish sweepstakes. But there are variations on that. You may get a phone call saying that you won Families Publishers Clearinghouse or any other charity, and all they need is your bank account number, and they will deposit the money directly in it as a service to you. Very nice of them. What they will deposit is in their own account what they take from you if you fall for that. So our next skit is titled, She's Alive. It's her. She's alive. Yeah, I know.
I know that look. And I'm not in any mood for any of your nonsense. No, I'm sorry. You don't deserve that. We both lost our sister.
You want to hear the unbelievably good news, or are you just going to crab at me?
Depends.
Depends on what?
You know.
I know what.
Just tell me.
Tell you what?
Enough of this. You're getting on my nerves. Can we at least stop arguing over whether Ruthie is still alive or not?
Well, I don't like arguing either, but neither of us actually saw her body, did we? So how can we know for sure?
Because we got a signed death certificate from the U.S. Embassy in Tibet. 6 of the people in her group were buried under that avalanche on Everest, and they had no choice but to leave them all there under the snow, on top of the mountain. I mean, it's horrible to think about, but at least we can take some consolation in knowing that Ruthie died doing what she loved to do. And they did make it to the summit.
So you keep telling.
Well, I'm sorry, Ken, but that's the reality, and we just have to live with it.
So you keep telling. Now, maybe you can explain to me how it is that she managed to max out her credit card while buried under an avalanche in Tibet.
What? What are you talking about?
Here's a report from Visa. And it looks like she was going hog wild in some of the most expensive stores in Los Angeles.
Wait a minute. Ruthie didn't even have a Visa card. And we canceled out her MasterCard as soon as we got word of the avalanche.
That may very well be true. But, smarter than me, brother, please explain to me how it is she's also opened an American Express account.
Oh. You know what's going on here, don't you?
I've got the uneasy feeling you're going to tell me that it's not Ruthie.
Oh, you got that right. This is classic identity theft. Somebody got a hold of her personal information, like her social security number and stuff like that, and they set up an account, a fake account, using her name. Boy,
So what do we
We've
do?
got our work cut out for us.
What do we do now?
Well, first of all, we've got to notify the credit card companies. And then we've got to check our own credit reports to make sure there's nothing going on with our own credit accounts. And we need to do it right now.
Oh, jeez. What a roller coaster. I've gone from the depths of depression to the heights of hope to panic mode, all in the space of about 5 minutes. I need a nap. Well, that's identity theft, folks. And it is a major problem. And if your identity is stolen, like your credit card number, or more importantly, your social security number, you are opening yourself up to a world of grief, and it takes a long, long time to correct it. So, give me a hand on what's next.
We're going to do traveling trombone next.
Okay, we are now coming to the traveling trombone.
See, I told you I could do it.
Do what?
I sold my old trombone.
What?
I told you I sold my old trombone. I told you I could do it.
What are you talking about? I mean, who would buy that old thing? You couldn't sell that to a sleazy bar for a wall decoration.
Shows how much you know. How could I? I knew I could sell it, and I did. Here's a check.
Well, who the hell did you sell it to? I mean, does it even work? You haven't played it in years, and it looked to me like it had been run over by a truck.
Sure, it'll play. It needs a little lube on the slide and maybe knock out a few dings.
So, who did you sell it to? Somebody deaf, dumb, and blind?
No, I sold it to a guy in Denver, and I nearly got my asking price. I asked $150 and got $140. How about that?
Denver? I mean, we're here in Vermont. Why would some guy in Denver want to buy an old beat-up trombone from somebody in Vermont?
Beats me, but I got the check right here for $3,750.
What? Wait a minute. No, this check is, yeah, $3,750.
Yeah.
I don't.
Huh?
How much did you ask him for?
$140. So I'll deduct the $140 and the shipping cost to send him the trombone and then send him the difference. Isn't that neat?
Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. Why would he send you this great big check and ask you to send him the balance?
Yeah. I don't know. That's his problem. It's a cashier's check from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Capital One Bank. That's all I care about.
Okay. Hold on. Hold on just a minute. How did all of this happen? I mean, how did you even make contact with this guy in Denver?
Well, I posted it on Craigslist. You know, it's a great online way to sell things. A pal of mine told me that she sold a lot of things that way. Isn't that pretty neat?
Craigslist, huh? Well, I presume they have a website. Here it is. Pat, did you ever read this warning that they print on their website? It says, deal locally with folks you can meet in person. And then it says, never wire funds via Western Union or MoneyGram. Well, here's a big one. Fake cashier's checks and money orders are common scams, and banks will cash them and then hold you responsible when the fake is discovered later on. And there's a lot more there, but think about it, Pat. You cash that check, mail this stupid trombone to somebody in Denver, wire this scumbag about $3,600 of our money, only to find out that his cashier's check was phony. And now we have penalties to pay for that as well. Pretty neat, huh?
I think that hurts. Maybe if I lower the price, I could sell it somewhere in Vermont.
Well, maybe she'd be able to sell that trombone somewhere in Vermont, but it's not very likely. Again, it's hard to believe, but I had this personal experience myself. I had bought a new foam mattress for our bed at home, queen size, and I wanted to get rid of my old one. It was a perfectly good mattress, and I decided I'll advertise it on Craigslist for $50. Big deal. And I got this email saying from somebody that they wanted to buy it. Well, that's interesting. I thought maybe they'd offer me $45 or so. No, they were going to pay the whole $50, and they would send me a check. And in came the check for over $3,000. And it was a beautiful looking check, cashier's check, as it appeared to be, from a New Orleans bank. And it instructed me to cash the check, to keep the $50 for the mattress, use what I needed to ship my old mattress to Denver. It happened to be Denver, and all would be well. So then, it was then that I read the Craigslist warning that you just heard, that said that had I cashed that check, the bank would have cashed it initially, but then they would have faulted it, because found out it was phony, docked me for that amount, and some guy sitting who knows where would have $3,000 plus. Pretty sneaky trick, but very clever of them. If you use computers a lot, you need to be very wary of the kinds of things you see on there. I'm a big user of Amazon.com, and I'll bet a lot of you are. And I had a screen flash up once when I was on the internet, and it was from Amazon. And it was a security protection warning. They wanted to identify myself to be sure that they had the correct information and it was not being used improperly. So I should enter onto that screen my username and my password. And since I do Savvy Senior Skits, my alarm bells went off and I said, that doesn't sound quite right to me. And I contacted Amazon, which is not easy to do, by the way. But you can actually get a phone call from them if you work hard enough at it. And I said, I just got this screen on my computer, and it was in all the Amazon colors, format, everything. It really looked like an Amazon screen. I described it to them, and the operator from Amazon said, a scam. So there you go. You have to be on guard against it at all times. The bad guys are extremely clever, and they're creative, and they keep coming up with new things every day. So be aware of that. Our next little skit is called A Canada Goose. Oh boy, I can't wait.
Do we have to watch baseball again tonight?
Why, it's the only thing that's any good on. What do you want to watch?
I don't know, I'm just tired of watching baseball every night. Isn't there a gardening channel? Or maybe we could watch the cooking channel for a change.
The cooking channel? Oh,
Ring, ring.
Can you get that,
Ring,
Albert?
ring.
You get that.
Ring, ring.
hello?
Hello, Grandpa?
Who's this? Dan? Dan, is that you?
Yeah, it's me, Grandpa. It's Dan. And I'm in terrible trouble. Hold on, and Detective Franks will tell you why.
Dan? Dan, what's going on?
This is Detective Franks. To whom am I speaking, please?
My name is Albert Wangstrom. Who are you, and what's going on with my grandson Dan?
Well, Mr. Wangstrom, I'm with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Your grandson and 2 other men were stopped last night here in Port Hunter, British Columbia, and there was approximately 8 ounces of cocaine found in the car. The 2 men with your grandson tested positive for the substance in their bloodstream, but your grandson did not. Nevertheless, he's being held here as an accessory and will be charged in Queen's Court. At the moment, it looks like the arraignment will be probably next Monday or Tuesday, and until that time, he'll be held here in the lockup at Fort Hunter.
Oh my God, no.
What is it? What's going on, Albert?
It's Dan, he's in jail in Canada.
Albert!
Officer, isn't there something we can do about this? I mean, Dan's a very fine young man. I'm sure he'd never be involved in any kind of illegal activity.
Well, there's nothing that can be done short of your posting bail for your grandson. Otherwise, he'll be with us for quite a spell, I'm afraid.
Bail. How much is the bail?
Albert, please tell me what is going on here.
I will when I'm finished talking to the policeman. I'm sorry about that, Lieutenant. How much is the bail?
It's Detective Franks, Mr.
Detective Franks.
Yes, not Lieutenant. Anyway, the bail is set for $6,000, and you can wire that to me here at the station house. Your grandson will be released immediately. Should your grandson leave Canada, I'm reasonably confident that there would be no further action given that he had no cocaine in his bloodstream. Would you like the address for that wire?
$6,000. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Albert, give me that phone. Hello? This is Mrs. Wangstrom. I'd like to speak with my grandson, please.
Certainly, Mrs. Wangstrom. Here he is.
Hi, Grandma? Are you and Grandpa going to be able to get me out of here?
Now, don't you worry about a thing, Dan. We'll take care of it. Are you all right? Your voice sounds a little funny.
No, I'm fine, Grandma. I just got a lousy cold, that's all.
Oh, what a pity. But how in the world did you ever end up in Canada, for heaven's sake?
Well, I had to come up here on a business trip, and my rental car broke down, and these guys picked me up. They were giving me a ride into town when we got stopped by the cops.
Oh, what a shame. But now, isn't Beverly due right about now?
Beverly's okay. Yeah.
And what about little Stanton? Did he get over that nasty fall?
I mean, I'm sure Beverly's fine, and Stanton is doing just great.
Well then, it's been nice to talk to you. I hope you enjoy your stay in your imaginary jail, thinking about your imaginary wife and your little grandson, Stanton. Nice talking to you, scumbag. Albert, if you ever do more than watch NASCAR and the sports, and read the sports and the comics, you may have heard that our grandson in jail in Canada is a scam that's going on all over the place. You came this close to costing us $6,000.
I can't believe I fell for that. Sorry. What was it you wanted to watch? Well, it is going on all over the place. Now, it maybe the scammers have me on the speed dial on their phones. I don't know. I've gotten that call 4 times from different scammers. How many people here have ever gotten it, versions of it? In jail in Canada, I've had in jail in Las Vegas, in the hospital. Anybody else received that call? I'm amazed. Look, oh, I'm seeing one. Well, I've gotten it 4 times. And I think the scammers all listen to each other or hear about each other, so they pick it up and they start passing it on. But they're getting pretty sloppy. The last one I got, the phone rang and I answered and I said, hello. And a guy with a foreign accent, you know, my grandson, began, Grandma? And I said, no, I'm called Grandpa. You've blown your line. You need to learn to speak. If you're going to do the scam, get your line straight. But anyway, what's next, team?
Perfidy.
Ah, perfidy.
We need to set up a little differently.
Did I get it right or did I get it wrong?
Yes, you did.
Are we on? perfidy.
I don't like this, Oliver. I don't like it one bit.
Well, that's the only way we're gonna know for sure. We've gotta try it.
Well, I think it's distrustful. You know, Gary is a very nice man. You know that he's been very helpful with my arthritis. And besides that, I like him.
I know you like him. He seems to be a nice man. But if he's doing what I think he's doing, he's not a very nice man.
Well, I think we have mice. That's what I think it is. Did you set the traps like I told you to?
Beatrice.
Ding dong, ding dong,
Gary's here.
ding dong.
I don't like this, Oliver.
We've gotta find that. Oh, hi, Gary. Come on in.
Hi, Oliver. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Beatrice.
Oh, Gary.
How are you?
Oh, pretty well, thank you. My hands
So
are much
good.
better. It's good to see you. My hands are much better.
Huh?
The knees are still a little bothersome.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
But of course, always I feel better after you've made your stop
Oh,
here.
you're so cool.
You're a miracle worker,
Yeah,
Gary.
yeah. Well, listen, Beatrice. Your range of motion is doing better. Listen, I'm not going to have much of a chance to work with you today. They've added a lot to my caseload, and so I'm just going to have to, just do a quick check, and then I'll be back in 2 weeks to be of full treatment.
Well, you know, I think I feel better for you just having stopped by. Is there somebody that Oliver could call to complain about your caseload? I'm sure he'd be happy to do it.
Listen, I appreciate that. I really do.
Uh-huh.
But I've got to run. So, before I go, could I use your bathroom? I mean, I've been on the go all day, and so it just a
Oh,
second.
certainly, you know where it is, right down the hall on the
Right,
left.
yeah, right, yep.
Oh,
We'll soon know.
oh, Oliver.
I'm all set. Thank you so much. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Very good.
Oliver, it's been good seeing you again.
Okay, bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
We'll soon know.
Oliver.
What did I tell you? There were 24 of your Percocet pills in this bottle this morning. There's 19 of them now. That means he stole 5 of your Percocet pills.
Did you check for mouse droppings?
Beatrice, you and I can hardly get the tops off these damn bottles. How do you think a mouse is going to do it?
But you know, maybe he just takes them to feel good, because you know how they peck me up when I'm not feeling so good.
Now, that's very sweet of you, Beatrice. No, he's stealing them. He's selling them down on Church Street to drug addicts. He's got to be reported.
Well, I hope they're not going to be too harsh with him.
Oh, I hope you're not going to be too harsh with him. You know, I'm sure that everyone in this room is well aware of the opioid crisis going on in the United States right now, all over the place. And Percocet and other painkillers have narcotics in them. They are in demand. They are sold on the street. It's a serious issue. So now we picked on a caregiver coming to the house, which was probably unfair because it's relatively unlikely that a caregiver coming into your house is going to get into your medicine cabinet and steal pills. But most of us have, it may be a TV repairman, a guy that comes to put in new carpeting or paint, or a plumber, or anybody that comes into your house that has access to getting into your bathroom. If you have painkillers in your house, you need to get them out of the cabinet, your medicine cabinet, before they come to visit your apartment or your house, because these will start disappearing and they'll appear on the street. Okay, what do we have next?
Summons.
Which?
Summons.
The summons. Okay.
Ring, ring. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello. This is Deputy U.S. Marshal Frank Higgins. To whom am I speaking, please?
My name is Martha Johnson. Who did you say you were?
My name is Frank Higgins, and I am a Deputy U.S. Marshal assigned to the U.S. Federal Court here in Burlington. Now, Mrs. I'm sorry, Mrs. Johnson, go ahead.
What are you calling about? I was just going to ask you, do you want to speak to my husband? He should be back in about 20, 30 minutes.
No, it's you I need to talk to, Mrs. Johnson.
What are you talking about?
I think you already know that, Mrs. Johnson.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You failed to appear for jury duty yesterday, as required by the summons that you received approximately 3 weeks ago from the federal court.
What are you talking about? I never received any summons.
Mrs. Johnson, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that excuse. And I can assure you that Judge Sessions has heard it many times as well, and he most certainly does not appreciate it.
And no, wait a minute, Mr. Marshall.
It's Deputy Marshal Higgins, Mrs. Johnson. Now, if we can just talk about
But
this.
Mr. Higgins, I didn't receive.
Please hold it right there, Mrs. Johnson. Now, I have the court records right here in front of me, so let's step back and see if we can't clear this up. Now, please give me your full name, including your middle name.
Martha Ann Johnson.
Now, I presume that's your married name. What was your maiden name?
Archer.
Okay. Now, give me your complete address, please.
678 Oak Hill Road, Overhill, Vermont.
And the zip code there?
05400.
And now, your phone number.
Do you need all of this?
Yes, ma'am, if we're going to get this all sorted out.
My phone number is 866-3491.
Now, I presume that's area code 802.
That's right.
Okay, and now your social security number, please.
Oh, wait a minute. Why do you need that?
Mrs. Johnson, I'm not sure that you fully understand that I'm trying to help you out here. We could just hang out right now, and the next thing that would happen would be a deputy marshal would appear at your house to take you to the federal court in handcuffs to appear before the judge.
Okay. My social security number is 522-30-5555.
Good. Okay, now, let me check this all out. I'm afraid, Mrs. Johnson, that the summons was mailed to you exactly 22 days ago. Now, that means you're in violation of a valid court order. Now, this is going to involve a fine, possible court costs, and the judge could even have you jailed.
I can't believe this is happening.
I can understand your distress, Mrs. Johnson, but this is a serious matter. Now, you seem like a nice person, Mrs. Johnson, and the court does have one special provision for violations that the investigator believes to have been unintentional. The fine for failing to appear is $150. Court costs usually run in the $200 to $500 range. Total failure to respond results in jail time. Now, if you're willing to pay the $150 fine right now, either by credit card or debit card or wire transfer, that will be the end of it. Are you interested in getting this behind you right now, Mrs. Johnson?
So, how should she answer that? Are you willing to get this behind you right now by paying by credit card, wire transfer, or credit? What do you think?
No.
Crash. She's already made one major mistake. She handed out her social security number for this phone call. You may have seen on the news just this week, I think it was, might have been last night or the night before, where the Vermont Attorney General said they had 5,000 calls last year of people asking if the state was contacting the target to pay their income tax penalties, or from the IRS threatening to arrest them if they did not pay up by phone, credit card, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that is an extremely common scheme. neither the IRS nor the Vermont's tax department will ever phone you and tell you that you owe them money. And furthermore, the scammers have said, gee, this works really well. Let's try some other things. So you may get a call saying, you haven't paid your gas bill, we're going to turn it off tomorrow if we do not receive payment now by credit card or wire transfer. Or it may be that your electric bill has not been paid, you have to pay right now. These are extremely common scams, and be wary of them. They don't do that by phone. You'll get something in the mail if you owe money. Okay, moving along. The bad guy departs the stage. And we now have, your doctor did what?
Share.
Honey, what was it you saw Dr. Strangelove for back in January?
Oh, that was to have a look at that spot on my neck.
So what do you do about it?
He burned it off with that cold stuff, you know. Remember, it took about 2 weeks for the scab to disappear? I was looking all over the place for sweaters with high neck collars.
Is that all there was to it?
I think so. Why?
Do you have any idea how much that cost?
Oh, it's covered by Medicare, wasn't it?
Yeah, for the most part, but do you have any idea how much it was?
No, how much was it?
$30,792.
What?
$30,792.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Well, I agree it's ridiculous, but considering all the other things that Medicare got charged for, maybe it's not so ridiculous.
What other things?
Well, your prostate exam, for example. I didn't know you were having problems with your prostate. Maybe that explains why you spend so much time in ladies' rooms.
Roger, what in the world are you talking about? Let me see
Oh,
this.
wait. Here's the big one. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Bilateral breast enhancements. That was over $30,000 by itself.
Roger.
Beverly, I think you've been holding out on me.
Well, this is all wrong. There's some mistake here. Obviously, it mixed me up with someone else. Why would Dr. Strangelove, a dermatologist, be doing prostate exams and breast enhancements? I'm going to call his office and find out what this is all about.
You haven't given out your Medicare number to anyone, have you, by any chance?
Of course not. Except a month or so ago, they called me to tell me that my card had expired and they're going to send me a new one.
Your Medicare card had expired?
Yes.
Medicare cards don't expire, and you gave them your number?
Well, sure, they said they needed it to process the new card.
Oh, honey, I'm afraid you've been scammed.
Oh, God, I hope I haven't done something stupid. My stomach's beginning to hurt.
We need to let the Cove know about this right away.
Oh.
I've got a brochure around here somewhere with their phone number. Come to think of it, I think that brochure may be upstairs. Why don't we go up there and look for it, and while we're up there, you can tell me more about these breast enhancements. Your Medicare number is the same as your Social Security number. You do not give it out easily under any circumstances. Okay, what do we have? Our finale. This one is commonly known as "No Wonder You're Dizzy."
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you the pharmacist?
Yes, how can I help you?
Well, I just got out of the hospital yesterday. I was having dizzy spells, so they put me in for a few days. I couldn't remember the medications I was taking, so when I was leaving, they said I should take all of my medications and show them to my doctor.
Oh, no, that's very good advice.
Yeah, but my doctor is out of town. And I won't see that other doctor because he has shifty eyes.
I see.
So I thought maybe you could help me.
Well, certainly.
Well,
What have you got?
well, I have a few of the things. I emptied the medicine chest.
Okay.
And so we'll get them all out here.
My goodness.
Thank you for helping me with this.
Well.
It's a little bit heavy, you know, too. I see. They're ready with this one there. And then, oh yes, and I put one in my bag, just a minute.
Okay,
Now
let's take a look.
Is that the lot? No,
Oh, no,
that's,
it.
all right, there, now that's the lot.
Do you take all those, or you're just collecting the bottles?
No! These I take on rainy days when my arthritis acts up. They do the trick, they do. Yes. And these I take when I have to see my sister-in-law. She complains a lot, you know. Drives me crazy. These put a smile on my face.
Are you Mrs. Elliott?
That's me.
Well, one of these prescriptions is for an Ada Johnson.
Oh, she's my friend. I had a headache one day and she gave them to me.
But they're 3 years old.
They still work.
Mrs. Elliott, old pills can be very dangerous. These bottles have expiration dates for a reason, and you should never take pills from a friend. When your prescriptions expire, you should do away with them. Get them out of the house. You can always bring them here, and we'll take care of them for you.
Okay, I didn't realize that. That didn't cost me that much. I'll do that.
Oh, how many pills do you take a day?
Oh, I don't know. 10, 15, 20.
How many?
Excuse me, sir. This is a private conversation. If you'll just wait over there a minute, your prescription will be ready very shortly. Now, Mrs. Elliott, so far I've found prescriptions from 4 different doctors.
Yes, well, let me see here. Give me one. This is the family doctor. This is the eye doctor. When I was visiting my son in Colorado, I saw this very nice young doctor. He gave me that. I don't know who this is.
Well, Mrs. Elliott, I'm not surprised you get dizzy a lot. This is a confusing pile of medications. And I see that you have some herbal remedies as well. Does your doctor know about these?
Oh, no, that's constipation.
And here's another thing. These 2 are the same,
Oh, I know that.
but they're different strengths. These are taken 2 times a day, and these are taken 4 times a day.
I take one of each in the morning.
Mrs. Elliott, here's my advice. Call your family doctor and get the earliest possible appointment. And then gather up all of these and take them to the doctor and have him explain to you what each one of them does and how they interact with each other. And do you drink alcohol?
If the mood takes me.
Please stop. At least until you consult with your doctor. You have to understand that what you're doing to your body when you don't follow the directions. So when you go to see the doctor, take somebody with you who can take notes for you. And don't leave until you understand everything. In fact, take notes for yourself as well. Take responsibility for your own care. And then take this pill organizer and use that to keep track of what you're taking. You are a very sprightly woman, but you won't be much longer if you don't take care. So you should also take this healthcare journal, keep track of what you're doing, what the reactions are, and everything in there, so that if anything goes wrong, your doctor will be able to figure it out.
Okay.
Oh, and ask about your diet. That's also important.
Okay, well, you know, I guess I've been too casual about all of this. You know, these just seem to multiply in the medicine chest like rabbits.
Looks that way, yes.
But I'm going to do all you said, and if I do this, I'm going to call Ada to do it with me.
And don't take any more of her pills, please.
I won't. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
You know what I think? I think if she took all those pills, threw them on the floor 3 times a day and bent down and picked them up 3 times a day, the exercise was wonderful for her.
Here's your prescription, Mr. Smith.
Oh, thank you so much.
Excuse me, Mr. Smith?
Yes?
That'll be $185, please.
$185? Are you kidding me? Who do you think I am, the king of Siam?
I'm sorry, but that's what the prescription costs. And we don't have on file here that you're enrolled in a Medicare Part D program. Do you by any chance have a pharmacy prescription card plan on you?
How would I know that?
Are you by any chance enrolled in one of the...
Well, let me show you the
Oh,
cards.
well, okay.
Let me show you the cards that I
Do you
have.
have a card? Why don't you
Well,
check
yeah,
that
I
first?
might. I got a lot of nice cards in here. Okay, here's one.
No, that's your AARP membership card. No, that doesn't
How
have
about that? It's a medical card.
No, that's your doctor's supplementary health care plan card.
Listen, here's a nice blue one.
Yeah, no, that's your hospital identification card.
All right. Ooh, here we go.
This seems to be your Victoria's Secret charge card.
That's none of your business.
Mr. Smith, are you by any chance enrolled in any of the Vermont pharmacy plans like V-Farm Medicare Savings Plan?
Mister, did you just fall flat on your head? How in the heck would I know anything about that?
Well, those are plans that are designed to help Vermont seniors and folks with disabilities to pay for their prescriptions. You just might be eligible.
How would I tell that?
Well, I'd like to go through it all with you, but I've got a lot of prescriptions here to fill. So why don't you take this brochure? It's from the State Health Insurance Assistance Program. It's called SHIP. There's contact information on the back there. Give them a call, and they'll take you all through it.
Well, I hope they take me through it and not take me for a ride. You have my address. Just send me the bill.
Always a pleasure doing business with you, Mr. Smith.
Well, I thought I saw Charlie coming out of Victoria's Secret recently. that figures. Managing your meds is important, and as I am starting to approach getting old, I notice it in the mirror occasionally. I notice that managing all of my meds is also problematical, and it's something that you need to pay attention to, become very systematic about it. And before I invite the cast up for their curtain call bow, I want to tell you about Mrs. Silverplane. She's a member of my church, Doris Silverplane, lovely old lady, lives alone now. She had a beautiful duck that was her personal pet, and it was just, I think his name was Peter the duck. And it was just amazing how that duck lived in the house. She followed her around the house, the duck followed her around the house, slept on her bed. When it had to do what we all have to do from time to time, it had a way of quacking, and she would let him out the door, and he'd go out and do his thing, and when he wanted to come back in, he'd quack, and she'd let him in, and so forth. Wonderful relationship between her and the duck. But one morning when she woke up, the duck just continued to lay there on the bed, and she became very alarmed. She grabbed the duck, cradled him in her arms, called a cab, dashed to the veterinarians, and the vet examined the duck and said, "I'm terribly sorry, but I'm afraid your duck is dead." And she said, "Oh, no, that can't be. You've got to do something. Please, do something." So the vet went to the back of the office, and he came out with this beautiful yellow Labrador dog, beautiful dog. The dog went over to the duck and sniffed it from one end to the other, shook his head no. The vet said, "I'm terribly sorry, but I'm afraid that your duck is dead." She said, no, please, no. And he said, all right, if you want me to do more. So he went back to the veterinary hospital again. He came out with a beautiful Persian cat. The cat went over to the duck, smelled it one end to the other, shook his head no. The vet said, "I'm terribly sorry, but I'm afraid your duck is dead." And she said, "Oh, no. What do I owe you?" So the vet went over to the keyboard, typed up her bill, handed it to her. She said, $150 to tell me my duck is dead? And the vet says, "Well, you wanted more work done, so we did a lab test, and then we did a CAT scan to confirm this fit. Now, if you'd taken my word for it right off the bat, it would have only been $50. So be careful what you ask your doctor for. It may pay for it. With that, come on out for a curtain call. It's been a great audience. Thank you very much. It's been fun being here with you.
I think you should share I know that some of you, I know I have some questions that I'd love to ask Ken and his truth. We know a lot about fraud. And if other people have questions, let's just give it 5 minutes and get some of those questions out. My first question, I'll ask one to start us. I don't know if we can get, let me ask Ken a question. People are always asking me for my social security number. So I went to a doctor for a second opinion, and they wanted my social security number. There's no particular reason why they needed that, but they asked me for it. And I said, "Do you really need that?" She said, "Well, no, we don't really." So why do they ask it? And who do we actually need to share our social security number with? And who do we not need to share it with? Because it's very hard to, I feel like my social security number is all over the place. And any one of the people at the bank, at the doctor's office, or wherever I've had to give this thing out, if someone there wanted to commit a scam on me, they could. So that's my first question.
Well, Dick will help out with any answer. I don't have an answer. I would say that most reliable commercial firms will ask you for the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. And if it were not, I would tend to consider a doctor's office fairly reliable. They're looking for your Medicare number, which is the same as your Social Security number. And I think you're proper to question them about it. The first thing I would say is, you have my Medicare number. And if they persist, then you have to make the decision then. But any commercial organization, I would not give my Social Security number to them, period. I might approve if they say give us the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. That I can do, and I will not go beyond that.
Also, there's a good rule of thumb that if you have not initiated a contact, if somebody calls you and asks you for your personal identification numbers, you do not give it. But if you've initiated and you know who you're talking to and that you trust them and the work they're doing, then it's generally safe. But and Charlie just reminded me that they're going to be redoing Social Security numbers. Everybody's going to be getting new numbers within a year or so. Medicare numbers.
Yeah, there is a scam that I've already heard about because we were told at our agency that the numbers would start state by state. They're changing the numbers starting now in April.
Yeah.
But what's already happened is that scammers are calling people and saying, "So we need to get you your new number, so you have to go," and then you end up giving them all your data to confirm, yes, you're the right person to get this new number. All that's going to be done by mail. If someone calls you, they're scamming you.
Even if they sound official, if they've called you, don't give them information.
They're very good at sounding official.
Yes, other questions? Yes.
Did I understand you correctly? You said that we're going to get new Medicare numbers that are distinct from the Social Security number?
I believe so,
Okay.
yes. Yes?
The other thing I noticed was one of the skits, and you said, "Is this Mrs.?" And you said, "Yes." I've learned that you never ever say yes on the phone because they
Oh.
record.
That's right.
There is the scam that you, when they say, "Can you hear me?" And you say yes, and they've recorded your voice saying yes.
I just
So,
never say
Don't
yes.
say the word yes, that's probably good advice.
And that's difficult to resist because it sounds like a very charming young lady. It says, "Can you hear me?" And your first instinct is to say, "Yes, I can hear you." But
How
Just
do
say,
they use
no,
that?
would you speak up, please, and see what happens?
How do they use that? How do they misuse that?
Well, they record it so that they can use it to.
that claim that you bought a cruise.
Yeah.
We have proof that
We
you
have
agreed to
proof
buy
that
this
you
cruise.
approved this because your voice is saying yes.
The recording of you saying yes.
Jeez.
No, they're very clever. They're very clever. Yes?
When you get a phone call, and it's a neighbor, for instance, you think it's the neighbor. It's not. It's a scammer.
In all probability.
But they go on, on the caller ID, it looks like it is your neighbor's phone number. You pick up the phone, and it's not the neighbor, it's the scammer. How did they do that?
Well, they're very sophisticated in how they can get a hold of phone numbers and names and those kinds of things. And I've even gotten calls that the caller ID has my phone number on it. And I'm thinking, why am I calling? So I will answer a phone, I'll say hello. And if nobody responds, I hang up. Because oftentimes they'll wait till you say hello a second time and then they'll jump in. So, and if you don't recognize a phone number, and if your neighbor doesn't usually call you, if they usually come to the door and knock, then you're probably scamming you.
I've had that experience with the medical centers ID on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the neighbor's one thing, you get a call from the medical center, you think it's the medical center.
I don't know the solution to that, except not to give out, if you didn't initiate a phone call, say, I'll get back to you, and then you call the medical center, or call the office and talk to them directly through a phone call that you've initiated.
I keep getting the scam where somebody calls me, and we're used to the help desks for technical things, often be someone with a Chinese or Indian accent or whatever. You get this phone call, it's from Microsoft. We're always having trouble with our computers. And we get the call saying, I'm calling because I understand you're having trouble with your computer, or I can tell that you're having, we at Microsoft can tell that you're having trouble with your computer and we're going to help you. And then the next thing you know, they're trying to get you to give them access to your computer remotely, which in fact, my stepson, who is a computer guy, has done for me. So this is a thing that they actually could do if they really were helping you. But the scammers have figured out how to do that. If you let them in, then you're dead.
That's actually a very helpful thing when you contact them.
Yeah.
And you're talking to their technicians, and they ask your permission for access to the computer, and you know that you've called the actual offices and you're talking to the people who actually work for Microsoft. But if they've called you, they'll say, I'm calling from the Windows technical department.
And they have an Indian accent.
Yeah.
Learning about your computer.
Yeah, something's wrong with your computer. I say, well, I'll look into it. I've gotten, my wife says that I tend to be too easygoing and too polite on the phone. I'm getting better at saying goodbye, scumbag.
And they're endless, just annoying. They're going to solve your credit card debt or lower the interest rate on your credit card. Those come in every day.
And I'm Robin Smith with the Orleans County Record, so I'm here to cover this for fun, but I'm having fun, so why not? I almost got taken in with a Facebook, sort of like it looked like, hey, look at what my puppy can do, and it was a lure, and I've been told since then, because I clicked on it and all the bells and whistles went off, and they asked for my password and things like that, and I called my person who does my computer, and they said, no, let's get out of that. But if it is if it says, look at what this puppy can do, and it kind of wants you to touch it, don't do it if you don't know who it is, or, because it's happened to several people that I work with, and I don't work with that many in the group, so.
Facebook has an application called Messenger, and there are people who have taken to sending, they set up fake accounts on Facebook, and they send you a request to connect with them through Messenger, and if you accept that, then they get into all of your information with Facebook. I got one from a woman who was a member of a church I served, and it seemed legitimate to me, and I clicked on it, and then I got all kinds of weird things that I knew Daryl wouldn't send me. And I said, something's wrong here, so I went in and I deleted that, and I changed my password and my information on Facebook. You've got to be very, very careful with stuff like that.
You're reminding me, I've gotten about 5 of this same one, which is a friend of mine's name that's sending to me that they were mugged in Europe. And, yeah.
That's the
That's the way it starts
grandson, the
off.
grandson in Canada. Now they're in Europe getting mugged.
Yeah.
Any others?
Thank you.
Thank you all.